Hello, my name is Pastor Perry Hill. I am the founder of Lifeline Prayer Center.
I am Angeline Hill. I am the Vice President of Lifeline Press Center.
I'm Vitero Hill, the founder of Safe Space.
We would like to invite you to our conference,
Impartation 2025.
A cross-generational family conference.
Our generation deserves to serve God without constraints of cultural or religious beliefs.
The purpose of this event is to bridge the gap one generation to the next. That different styles of worship are done in unison to the Divine One, and the power of God may be felt like Pentecost.
Honoring God based on who you know God to be from the depths of our hearts, that everyone will feel the love of God with no limitations.
For more information,
go to lifelinepresscenter.com
or scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 6 of Bridging the Gap with the Hill, Bridging the Gap with the Hills. And we got a very, very, very special episode today because we're going to be talking marriage. We're going to get into married folk business. My mother and father are here. Dad, would you like to say something?
Hey, enjoy today as we come and open up ourselves to you. And we pray that what we say will help you in the long run.
Oh, yeah. How long has it been? What's the long run look like, Ma?
52 and a half years.
Jesus Christ. You know, I'm only 44. How in the world? Well, we'll get into that in a second. But before we do, there's a couple things we got to go over. We need to talk about the conference real quick. And then as promised, we said we would get the questions out of the comments from Wednesday's show and answer them at the top of today's show. So we got to answer that question as well. Before that, Impartation 2025, a cross-generational family conference. Ma, what you got to say about the conference coming up?
Wow. I will say I'm very excited because some things the Lord has promised that would take place, and to see families come together. And when the title is a family conference, not the Hill family, but families as a whole,
Correct.
You know, coming together and bridging gaps and whatever differences that have been taking place, you know, these things are being ironed out, worked out. And so watching this unity take place, I'm so excited. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be a wonderful time to come together and take what we learned and put the energy of that and just spread it out like butter into everyone that all of the registrants that come. All right. Now, I will say this: if you want to get more information, scan this QR code at the bottom of the screen right now, or go to lifelineprayercenter.com. All right. So you can scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or go to lifelineprayercenter.com to get all the information you need for this Impartation Cross-Generational Family Conference in 2025. It's March the 7th through the 9th, okay? March the 7th through the 9th, and you definitely want to be a part of it, all right? Okay. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We're about to get into the topic, but we do need to go over Recash's question that she asked because we pre-recorded on Wednesday, so we didn't have the ability to answer the questions live, but we keep our promises around here. All right. So Mom and Dad, Recash asked, how do you get past the vulnerability when you grew up in an environment where being vulnerable brought on shame and ridicule?
Wow. That's a very good question. For myself, it's literally, and I think everyone has these parts and pieces that they have to work through and get to the place where it doesn't become a stronghold in your life anymore. You work yourself through it, or you see the mistakes made dealing with it, or you tell yourself, no, you tell that thing, should I say, no, you're going to lose your grip off of me, and I'm going to get past all of that and become somewhat made whole in that area. Because I would share with someone, I had a situation where my mother, my grandmother, my brother, I mean, powerful men of God, powerful women of God. And somehow I never felt that I was up to par with them spiritually.
Mm.
So if I was in a spiritual place or space and they were around, I would always dumb down and
Uh,
just sit, you know.
mhm.
Um, I remember a couple of times being in their presence as the Spirit of the Lord was moving, and it was nothing they did or said. I just felt that I didn't meet the bar, and so I would just always just kind of sit still. And it took some time to get past that. It really did. And
Mhm.
so, but I worked my way through that. So,
Right.
it's just one of those things. A lot of times we have to stand up to that fear. We have to stand up to that thing that has paralyzed or crippled us and let it know, no, no, no more. I can't do this anymore. You have to go. And we have to work through it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now that's for the family where it's safe to be vulnerable. You just have to work past experiences. So,
Hmm.
Dad, what do you say to the person that's watching and their family is not safe for vulnerability, but they're looking to be vulnerable? They're looking to open up. What do you suggest they do?
Um, my suggestion would be you have to seize the moment.
Mhm.
There's always a time, regardless of how the situation is, there's a moment and a time that you can see, and guess what? It'll be accepted.
Mhm.
I give an example, sort of. Hopefully, I'm talking about the same thing. We
Hmm.
was all sitting around the dining room table, and uh,
Here we go.
somebody had did something they wasn't supposed. And so
Uh-huh.
we were all happy and laughing and, giggling at each other, making fun and all that around the table. So that was a moment. And so
Hmm.
at that time, uh, your mother took that opportunity to share.
Uh-huh.
And because everybody was happy, everything was going, and that moment was the right time. And guess what? Everything went well.
Okay.
Hmm.
But now, if it would have been a different timing when things was maybe quiet, or it might have been a little friction or something in the family, and all families have them, and then brought up that same situation, guess
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
That would have just added to the fire and it blew up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you seize the moment,
Yeah. But
seize the moment uh, of I hope I'm answering in the
yeah,
right context.
no, no, that's good. But I'm gonna add another layer. What if there is no moments? Like this family's cooked.
Wow.
It ain't happening. How does one approach vulnerability? What do you suggest they do when their family is not the space to go to be vulnerable?
No space whatsoever.
Just cooked. I mean, that bird is burnt.
Well, in some things, you pick your battle.
Mm,
You have to pick your battle. How important is it for you to release or say or do?
yeah.
Is it a battle that you want to go into? Or is it something that you can say, okay, I see I'm not going to have the opportunity to do it, but I'm willing to just let it go?
Mhm,
And some things we have to let go. We
mhm.
have to just let it go.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to our beginning session of something we just don't talk about.
Right. Right.
It's
Yeah.
on the do not talk about list.
Yeah, the do not disturb list. If you thought this was the podcast where you were going to get like every answer was like cookie cutter, you're in the wrong space. That's not
Mm.
what this is for. This is reality. There
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
some of you out there, your family structure is so toxic, you're not going to have a vulnerable moment with them. Go find a friend, get a therapist. It's not going to be with them.
Yes.
Or if it is them, as my father said, it's not going to just be you just show up and go to talk, and you got to be extremely discerning and sensitive on when
Hmm.
to do it or to go wrong.
Yeah.
Or as my mother said, it's not necessarily the family more than you having to get over the fear because of the past, because in the past it wasn't easy to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
One of those three things probably applies to everybody that's watching this. And so we hope that you can apply that to your life. But in some of use cases, it's best to not. And
Mhm.
that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we struggle with it because we haven't accepted it. My
Mhm.
family's not the family where I can have open, honest conversation. And when you accept that, you'll probably start enjoying them because you'll start enjoying the things they can do because you know it ain't gonna be that.
Mm.
So yeah, do y'all have anything else to add before we get into today's topic?
Sometimes the pressure could be on the outside of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean is that if you share it, then the family might be concerned about what's gonna, if it get out from the family,
Mm-hmm.
what's what the recourse to be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So it's a lot of ways you have to look at and evaluate it
Yeah.
on how when it's something vulnerable that, you know, again, willing to. I guess what I'm saying is looking at the whole picture
Yeah.
Mhm.
and getting an understanding about uh, who you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, are they open-minded? Are they closed-minded?
Right.
Uh, so all of these things play in. It's not a cut dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a cut dry thing. You have to determine, know who your parents are, know who your friends are, know who your relatives are.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's not a cut dry. Sometimes we that want to share, or we that's vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
need to do research.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what have happened in the past?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have anything changed yet?
Right.
Doing when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and now that I'm older, have anything changed?
Right.
Have the characteristics of the individual that I want to reveal to, have anything changed that would make a difference?
Yeah.
They are
Wow.
still in the same cookie cutter, or as you call it, if they're still the same, uh, what it was when you was a younger child
Mm-hmm.
and teenage, grown, whatever, if they haven't changed, then, like I said, you have to pick your battle.
Pick it better.
Yeah. I was thinking as you were talking about the poem, the very, very popular poem that says children learn what they live.
Mm-hmm.
And when it says when children live with criticism, they learn to condemn. When they live with hostility, they learn to fight. When children live
Oh,
with ridicule, they learn to be shy. With tolerance, they learn to be patient.
mhm.
Encouragement, confidence, with praise, appreciate, generosity, sharing,
Mm-hmm.
honesty and fairness, truth and justice. With security, they learn to have faith. And I think that's a lot of the problem right there.
Yeah.
What what's wrong?
Your husband.
What?
No, you was okay. Sorry, guys. Dad and I was texting back and forth about making sure the QR code stays at the bottom of the screen when we do these shows, right? So the last text I sent him while you were talking earlier, I said, "Oh yes, please remind me. I'll do that for Wednesday show." I saw some dots going through. How about all of that he was saying is through text? I said, "Who is this texting me all of this?"
Oh my
I,
God.
was- I was sitting here shaking my head that don't pay no attention to it, but you just had to.
No, because I'm thinking this got to be important. I'm sorry, Ma. What were you saying?
Oh, it's okay. Oh my God.
And I
Well,
saw myself cutting the
anyway,
mic off because the mic was on. On the
anyway,
phone.
y'all see what I go through at home. Okay, just so you
Oh,
see.
Ma.
But getting back to what you were saying, honey,
Mhm.
when you were saying that, as time go on, they can just kind of reflect back to see if things are as they were.
Yeah.
But possibly by then, damage is done. And so, because
Mhm.
I think a lot of us, and in defense of our forefathers, our parents, grandparents, they did not know a lot of this,
Mhm.
it's because if they did, I'm positive they would not have done some of the things that were done. And I think the criticism, when children live with the criticism, they learn to condemn. I think that right there, the criticism, and not necessarily to condemn other people, but themselves. We ourselves feel condemned when we grow up in criticism and this type thing. The ridicule, we learn to be shy or whatever.
Mhm.
And so it's just an ongoing cycle of the environment, the culture, or whatever we take on. And so when we become adults, or at whatever point we become cognitive of what's really going on with us, we go into a fight for our to find ourselves, to reverse all that is done,
Yeah.
or we live with it. We live with it with no hope,
Mm,
seemingly, or just settle for it. But
mm,
most people don't settle for it at all. No,
mm.
we don't settle. Whatever damage was done, and we recognize that damage, we're like, no, we got to reverse some of this stuff. Everything is not going to go to the grave with us. No. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
This makes me think we need to do a generational curses thing, but not from the spirit of you got the spirit of whoredom, more than how issues can go along. Because as you're saying, Ma, you're raised in a house of, well, what you have condemnation or vice versa, whatnot. So then
Mhm.
you're raised up like that. And unless you take on the arduous task of fixing something that you didn't
Yeah.
break,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
will parent like that. And
Absolutely.
they will
Yeah, you
parent
will.
like that.
Exactly.
What the loudest thing I heard you say, Ma, and we're gonna try to get to the topic today, but you know how we do. The
Yeah.
loudest thing I heard you say, Ma, was that, well, let me go back to what Dad was saying. Vulnerability is nobody's responsibility but your own.
Mhm.
So you must do the investigation. Like,
Mhm.
is it a safe space? No one is required to coddle your vulnerability.
Mhm.
You
Right.
must be responsible and conscious, aware enough where to be vulnerable at.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, and that's what I got out of what you were saying, Dad, when you said investigation.
Right.
But then, Mom, you come back around with another thought that says this, though. If I was broken as a child, a lot of times I have to take the responsibility to fix me
Yes.
before I can even go back and
Yes.
address
Yes.
how I was broken and who broke me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Ooh, this is some grown folk stuff.
Right.
I
Right.
give me maybe 10 again.
I remember I remember after I came to a place I understood God better.
Okay.
We were taught God, and we were taught in the way our forefathers knew God. So,
Sure.
again, no, nothing against them. But when I grew up, began to grow up and understand the word, um, certain things were said to me. And because just like it was said to me whenever I was diagnosed with breast cancer,
Mm.
it was said to me that God let me get breast cancer because of something I did. It wasn't a sin. It was something they didn't like.
Someone
But
told
see,
you that?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But
A
at
family
this,
member?
hmm,
A family member?
sure, yeah. But at
Jesus.
this point, I knew God. I remember
Okay.
reading for myself. I remember the word being preached. I remember God dealing with me individually, letting us know the price that Jesus paid that we would not carry on sicknesses and diseases.
Mhm.
So when that was said to me, I listened out of respect. I
Mhm.
listened, but of course, I had my finger on the trigger whenever they got done talking.
Yeah.
And I listened and I said to them out of respect, I say, so you're telling me that God sent Jesus to eradicate all sickness and diseases, but when he got to me, he decided that the work Jesus did wasn't going to work.
Mm.
It wasn't for me, it was for everybody else.
Right.
And needless to say, it shut it all down.
Mm.
Okay, but had not I been equipped
Mhm.
with the word of God, with an understanding, a revelation of the price that Jesus paid, wasn't
Mhm.
based on how good I was or based on what you felt or what I feel about you, you feel about me. I was able to let the enemy know you're not. I'm a little bit older now, spiritually, and a little bit old, more mature. No, I can't let you pour that over my life and make me believe that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So for a lot of people, gosh, you were handed a hand that wasn't best. I'm not going to say it was bad. It wasn't best as a young person. And then you're going to have to deal with that hand as an adult.
Mhm.
And the I guess it was a lot. Um,
Yeah. So
Wowzers. I never knew that.
yeah. Oh, it's a lot you don't know, baby.
Yeah.
Which family member said it?
No, we're not doing that.
Not
As
the name.
I tell Bill,
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Are they dead or alive?
Eh,
you trying to do a little investigation.
right.
We
And
know
it doesn't matter. It doesn't
you're
matter. I'm
out.
just thankful that I knew
It don't matter.
God well enough to know that I don't have to receive that. Yeah.
Well, family member, whoever you are, I got smoke for you, dead or alive. I talked to both of them. Anyway.
Oh my God. See. Okay, so for those of y'all that's listening, don't you see why Vincent got his behind whooped every opportunity that I got? Because he's talking out the back of his neck.
What? I'm just saying. Ugh. Okay, what we're gonna do? Thank you, Recash, for submitting that questions. As y'all can see, if you submit questions in the comments, we'll cover them in the next show. Because to be honest, this is a pre-record again because my mother has to preach. So, but we'll recover it.
And I'm glad about it.
Oh yeah, I'm going. Since I've been meaning to ask you this, do I got to wear a suit?
You don't have to. You don't have to wear anything but clothes.
Thank God. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was thinking about that today.
No, it's not a setting where. No, it's not like that. This man and woman of God, that house as a whole is conducive to people coming to see God and experience God Himself and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, go ahead, woman of God. I was just feeling. I could tell you getting ready to preach. You just so. And you know when people got to preach, they start being preachery like 2 3 days. Long.
Don't be hating. Nobody didn't call you.
She got.
Oh, I felt it. I felt it. Oh,
You feel that?
wow.
Did it go through for you before it hit me? Okay, when we come back, we're going to run a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about marriage, 53 years of marriage.
Wow.
Some of the things that my parents regretted, some of the things that they don't regret, and how all of it affected their kids. And we're going to try to do that in 20 minutes. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to try. We will be right back.
Hello, my name is Pastor Perry Hill. I am the founder of Lifeline Prayer Center.
I am Angeline Hill. I am the vice president of Lifeline Prayer Center.
I'm Vitor Hill, the founder of Safe Space.
We would like to invite you to our conference,
Impartation 2025.
A cross-generational family conference.
Our generation deserves to serve God without constraints of cultural or religious beliefs.
The purpose of this event is to bridge the gap from one generation to the next. That different styles of worship are done in unison to the divine one, and the power of God may be felt like Pentecost.
Honoring God based on who you know God to be from the depths of our hearts, that everyone will feel the love of God with no limitations.
For more information,
go to lifelinepresscenter.com
or scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Thanks so much for rocking with us. This is episode 6. We're going to be talking about all things marriage with Mom and Dad Hill, who have been married for 53 years. But before we get into that, Dad, would you like to talk about the conference coming up in March?
Yes. We are looking for God to do great things in the midst of us.
Mm-hmm.
As it says, bridging the gap.
Mm-hmm.
This is a family conference. This is a family conference. The family is the unit that God put on earth to replenish the earth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we are putting this conference on to where, however, it might be a gap in your family.
Mm-hmm.
Come to the conference. Let's bridge that gap and bring that family unit back together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what the conference is about. Bridging the gap between generations, bridging the gap between brothers and sisters, bridging the gap between mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, mama, daughter, children, bridging the gap.
Yeah.
Family unit, bringing unity and strength in the body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I love that a lot of our conversations, though we are different people, and not just you all against me, but all three of us are very unique individuals. It
Mhm.
hasn't been we haven't really gotten hung up in the things that some would probably think we get hung up about.
Mhm.
Like, we haven't even touched my spiritual practices, not much at all. We
Mhm.
haven't touched sexuality from that perspective against us. You know why? Because when you really get into the things, you realize there are a whole lot more other things to talk about than that. And
Mhm.
I hope that these conversations are putting you all on game, that what you think is the issue ain't really the issue. And that's what we
Mm.
want to do. We want to sort of destigmatize these cultural differences that causes these gaps between generations, between family members. And so I'm super excited to be serving alongside my parents for this conference. It's a QR code at the bottom of the screen. You can scan it, or you can go to lifelineprayercenter.com to get all the information you need. As well, you can DM or email any one of us to get more questions if you have comments or anything on the conference. If you sign up before the end of this month, you can register, get a hotel room, pay your offering in advance for 5 easy monthly installments. Or you can do individuals. You can do your registration in monthly installments. If you want to book the hotel room outside of us, maybe you got some kind of special thing, there's a link you click inside the website where you can book the hotel room directly. It's all at the website. Let's go to lifelineprayercenter.com. Okay.
Mhm.
Mm.
All righty then. all, all righty then. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in there. Like, share, subscribe, and comment no matter where you're seeing this at. My mother's page, my father's page, or my page. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Any questions you have, we'll cover at the top of Wednesday's show. All right. Perry and Angeline Hill, you've been married for 53 years.
52 and a half.
52.5 years. It's looking a bit.
Point
Let's.
six.
You said what happened?
52.6.
Oh, 52.6 years. It's looking a bit again. Let's start with the things that you wouldn't take back when it comes to marriage. Okay, so we'll do this in 2 sections. What you would take back, how did that affect the kids? What you would take back, and how did that affect the kids? All right, Dad, you want to start us off?
Yeah, ladies first.
Oh, okay. Ladies first.
he,
Okay.
he enjoys me starting the vehicle, then he can just get on a moving vehicle. I understand, because typically women, we just like that.
You go with it
So
like that, right?
yeah, right. Well, when it comes to marriage, when I think about the stance that we took in the beginning, and back in our generation, it wasn't just a marriage ceremony. It wasn't just what you say. Though we were not born again believers when we got married, we understood that you have to take this serious.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a model to go by. He did.
Mm-hmm.
And now I did have a model. My pastor and his wife, Bishop William and Sister Mary Townsend, they were back then the home church, and so there was so much volume spoken from the home church, from the preacher and his wife, and
Mm-hmm.
just looking and watching them, and I'm sure they had problems, but just
Sure.
looking and watching them, they were a model for a husband and wife. And so, when your dad and I got married, we remember we had to go by what I had to go by what I remember hearing, what I remember seeing, and now he had a model to go by. Um, so there was a lot of hit and miss for me. But being really young, I just knew, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Because back then, the women cooked for the men. I don't know. I know now, other stuff take place now. Not judging or ridicule or anything.
Sound like it to me.
So back then, the wife cooked for the husband, and
Uh-huh.
to this day, I know there's a lot of driving windows out there on your way home. I know there's a lot of places you can stop,
Mhm.
and eat and go home, and hubby fend for himself. I know it's a lot of that going on, but to this day, if I stop to get something, I'll reach out to him and say, "Hey, what do you feel about this? I'm going to stop. You want something? You want something different? And sometimes he'll say, well, no, I don't want that, but go get me this or whatever. But it's always providing the meal, making sure that the husband eat. Um, uh, and not only that, he does the same thing because I'm just seared in my mind that the woman don't take trash out. The man take the trash out. And
Mhm.
so he does that. And so we have these roles that we play that we have not veered from and don't intend to. Now,
Mm.
every once in a while, if I'm in the kitchen cooking and there's something in the trash that just kind of aggravating me, I'll take the trash out. I don't
Right.
wake him up or make him come all the way downstairs to take the trash out. I'll just take it out, just
Right.
depending. And especially after, cleaning meat and stuff, it's like, nah, let me get rid of this before before he shuts the kitchen down in the evening or whatever. So that's one of them, taking care of him. Even to this day, there's things, there's roles that I play, that I've always played, that I will always play. Even though society is changing, you don't do this, you don't do that, and then with some of the things that I guess the woman did do back then, I don't do because he does it. Like I mean, whatever reason, he feels that I don't do laundry correctly. So he does the laundry,
Uh-huh.
and if, at first I would just go off about it. You don't tell me how to do my laundry, and yeah. And then I thought, hold up, little girl, hold up here. If
Mhm.
let him do it if he want to do it.
Let them cook. Let them cook. Right.
Yeah, let him cook. Go ahead and knock it out,
Uh,
And even to this day, pumping gas, he puts gas in my car.
when the last time you pumped gas, man?
Mm. I don't know. I don't know. Now, there's been times we've gone on trips, day trips, me and some of the girls or whatever. I've pumped it because we had to get gas to get back home. But as
Right.
far as here, just like if I say something like I need gas in the car, he'll stop what he's doing. He'll get up, and I may be going to bed already, but he'll get up before the next morning I have to go somewhere. And when I get up the next morning, the tank is full because this is just what we do, you
Right.
know. It
Right.
is not cumbersome at all to take care of my husband, not at all. you
Mm.
know we have this thing. He In the morning he makes the coffee, in the evening I makes the tea,
Right.
and sometimes it gets a little, I'll do the coffee or he'll do the tea, but the norm is I
Right.
do tea in the evening, he do the coffee. Yeah. And
Mm.
so like that. Now, if he's still asleep or something and I'm downstairs, I'll just go ahead and make the coffee. I'll make his as well and
Right.
just put it in the container where it will remain hot. And when he get up, he can have it.
Right.
I don't just make mine. We don't do that. We look out for each other. Or the tea at night. I don't make me a cup of tea and don't make him a cup.
Right.
That's no, you don't do that. So
Right.
stuff like that. And then the other thing too is I remember with his mom and dad, their relationship was really different, but it was good.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember telling him one time, your mom and dad, what they do work for each other, but that's not gonna work for us.
Mm.
It's not gonna work because his mom was just such a phenomenal kind of woman, and his dad was a little rough around the edges, but
Mhm.
he was a good man. He wasn't violent, he wasn't mean, just a little rough. And so I just thought I'd let him know early that that ain't good for us.
That ain't it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's not gonna work for us. And so he never showed any signs of anything his dad may have done. And again, his dad was a good man. He wasn't anything. I just didn't like some of the stuff, how he handled the mom part.
Got it.
Yeah. And the marriage part, even to this day, oh my God, I think 52 and 0.6 years came from, first of all, God. Even when we were not born again believers, God set himself in the middle because he knew, and so it lasted. It was like we was married like 5 years or so before we gave our lives to the Lord. So God did what needed to be done, or just remembering, the righteousness, watching, being in the Christian environment, probably very well played a major part in it. But being a born again believer, I want to share when we were living in Oklahoma. And let me say this, let me preface this right now with, there were many times we faced challenges, many, many times.
Mhm.
But being in the church environment in Oklahoma, Pastor Vernon Cross and Mother Cross, uh, so we were in Oklahoma, and this is the time when he would just be gone back and forth so much. Every 2 weeks he's gone or whatever. And I remember one time we had this disagreement, and we vowed that we would never ever have a disagreement and not fix it, not let it go on and on without being corrected.
Mhm.
Well, we had this disagreement. He had to leave early the next morning, like 4 o'clock, going to Puerto Rico, California, somewhere. So we didn't get a chance to fix it. And so while he was gone, the devil said to me, I mean, I think I was in church, so the devil, he'll show up at church too. The devil said to me, you know what? Why don't you pack up the house and your kids and be gone when he get back? And I thought about it. I said, "You low down, dirty, whatever,
Mhm. Mhm.
type thing."
Mm.
Well, because we've always been open and honest with each other. When he got back, I would share. Well, not the minute he got back, but as
Right.
we were fixing, I shared with him. I said, "You know what the devil told me?" And so I told him the devil told me to pack up the house and be gone, get the kids and be gone when you get back. He said, ain't that something?" Because the devil told me don't even go back home.
So that's where I get my brutal honesty from then. Okay. Well, I got to come up a
Yeah.
little bit this past Wednesday, about being too honest. But okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so when he said that, I was like, "Now, okay, so this is how this worked." He's working on one. I would have thought I left him when he would have thought he left me. We really left each other, type thing. So,
Right.
yeah,
Tag you in.
yeah, tag you it.
Right.
But so things like that, we still to this day, when we get into situations, we need to have what we call that discussion. And then another thing we do now, and then I'm going to stop, let him talk. But another thing we do, and as you know, Vince, every single morning, well, we try every morning. We always have conversation. If something happened yesterday that we didn't get a chance to talk about, let's talk about it this morning. We do Holy Communion every morning,
Mhm.
every single morning, and we don't wait till the first Sunday at the church. No,
Mhm.
every single morning we do Holy Communion, and that's part of our morning practice, so that we ourselves can walk out the will of God concerning us.
Mhm.
We don't mimic after anybody else, because it's one of those things. What's good for one marriage is not necessarily good for another.
Uh-huh.
What works for one may not work for another. So we've got to do us, and everything. So we do Holy Communion every morning, and then we take opportunity. He can say, "Well, something yesterday said or something did. I didn't like that too much," or the same for me, or whatever. And so these are the things I would not take back. I would
Mm.
not take back. Raising our children. There's a lot. That's a whole nother subject. But for the most part, the only thing with that is that we have learned a lot. If we went back, we would do a whole lot differently. But the foundation of it, raising you all, it would be still a Christian home. It would still be the standards and the beliefs that we had.
Mm.
Some other stuff I would approach differently. Just like we read, the if a child lives in this,
Yeah.
this is what happens. We would do some of that differently.
Right.
And so a lot of that we were speaking damnation over you guys, but you are. I know you ought to know better than that. I can't believe you don't know better than that. That's condemning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we were not aware of that at the time. So we would do stuff like that differently. Yeah. And this is not everybody. Some of you had it all together. We didn't. But we're able to say that, we see some mistakes that we made and we would do something differently. But the marriage part, and it's like, even now, we have gotten to the age now, if he say something side-eyed, I feel like, what did that mean? Don't even answer, like, boy, bye. Just keep on going, type thing. And the same with him. We've learned to, pick battles. I know we're not arguing over that. Yeah, type thing. So
Okay.
I took up all the time. Sorry, honey.
I told y'all she got to preach tomorrow, so
Ah,
she wide open. She's gonna let the people have it
save my
tomorrow.
energies.
Have it. Okay, so what I heard you basically say was that you guys understood your roles in the marriage, and
Mhm.
you've been committed to those roles,
Yeah, yeah,
and committed to each other through those roles.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. All
Now,
right.
the roles were made by society, really.
Mhm.
You know, the roles were made that the woman should cook and the man take out the trash, but they work. I mean, they weren't broken, so why try to fix them? And I
Oh,
liked it. I didn't mind cooking, and I didn't mind him taking out the trash.
yeah, because it sounds like to me, because even though that's true, it seems like to me it's gone from something that the culture has constructed to something that works for you all.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it seems like it's not even about that anymore, because I'm sure there are other areas that are counterculture construct that y'all do because it don't work for you all.
Mhm.
Right,
That
right,
makes, yeah. So,
right, right,
okay.
right.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say this real quick. Hey, remember years ago, honey? You woke? You sleep? You woke? Oh, there you are. Okay, so honey, remember? Remember years ago when we found out that the pastor, whoever, and we say that because they were the ones over us, and they get that leadership attention type thing, and we would find out that pastor and his wife didn't sleep in the same bedroom, and we would just go into some type of judgment call.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't believe, how can they counsel us or model to us, and they're not even the same bedroom? Isn't that ignorant? That is so ignorant, because everybody that's in a different bedroom doesn't mean there's trouble. There's sleeping issues. There's things that suggest that people
References.
go in different rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, wow. But as we grow and we learn, especially as you get older, the things that you didn't even fathom when you were, on and popping and all of that right there,
Yeah.
so all of that going on. But yeah.
And it don't matter what room you're in. You can always bump skins.
Yeah. Okay. So the only thing you're doing is showing the people where I stayed on your little behind. With that mouth.
Okay, Dad. What you got? What you got? What you got for us?
Well, your mother covered it pretty much, but one thing that I, one thing that that we did is we didn't let other people in our marriage.
Mm,
Mama, daddy, cousin, aunt, uncles. We did not let other people
right.
influence our marriage. And I
Mhm.
think that's one of the biggest things that kept us together, because we didn't have that outside influence.
Mhm.
We worked it out ourselves. And I liked uh, Mother Creasy.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Told me when I asked about marrying your mother, she said, "Okay, I can give you permission." Then she turned to her and said, "Look, once you leave that door and with that man, you don't come back.
Mhm.
You might come back. You come back with him, but you don't come. When you leave here, you're not coming back here." And she
Mhm.
told me the same thing. I'm giving her to you, so you take care of her.
Mhm. Sure
And
did.
that was the instruction that she gave us before. I did it the old fashioned way. I went to her and
Right.
asked her, could I marry her daughter?
Mhm.
And
You
that was the
did.
instruction, and those instructions stayed with me. She's yours to take care of.
Wow.
I've done my part.
Mhm.
She's spoiled rotten.
And look, what did you say in the beginning of the show? Don't mess with what now?
Oh, what your money, your Jesus, and your wife, right?
Messing. Messing.
Okay, let me stay in your good graces then, sir. All right, my
But
bad.
but that was one of the things that I think
Mhm.
kept us together. We didn't let any outside influence, not on my side of the family, not on her
Mhm.
side of the family.
Mhm.
He might say something, but we just like the old folks say, water rolling off the back of a duck. Because number one, uh, this part of the Hill family was the Hill family right here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and so uh, yeah, you picked up some good stuff, and you left the bad stuff away alone.
Mhm. Mhm.
I just didn't believe that I need anybody. My wife smelled like gasoline
Mm.
from pumping. So
Oh.
plus the other part, being in the military, I was away a lot.
Mhm.
Mm.
And either in the field or whatever, So you cherish your jewel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so in church, in your jewel, you took care of. And I was brought up that the man take care of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that means that if I had to go out there and pick up some bottles and sell bottles to make ends meet, that's what was done.
Mm-hmm.
It was
That's
cans. I don't know about the bottles, but during our day, it was cans. Selling cans.
Aluminum cans. Yeah.
yeah, selling cans, whatever. I was just giving an example,
Okay.
but I think that's one of the big things that kept us together.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as we talked earlier about, of course, the discipline in the house, where normally the man would be the one supposedly do the discipline. Well, in our case, we adjusted because since I was away,
Mm-hmm.
especially during your time, because I was away, and she did the discipline. And it was all according to where we were stationed.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
Berlin, I was home most of the time, and that's where your brother area, your
Right.
oldest brother area. So
Mm-hmm.
I was the one that necessarily would take care of the discipline during that particular time frame. And of course, when we got to Oklahoma, is when I was really away every 2 weeks.
Right. I was
on the
gone.
plane.
He was
I
gone.
was I was on the plane so much that one of the church mothers told your mother, why you keep running your husband away every 2
Oh,
weeks?
whoa.
Yeah.
She was being serious?
Yeah, she was serious.
Jesus. People, why people so ruthless back then? Y'all wonder why we are the way we are.
That's just the way it was. Why are you running your husband away every 2 weeks? Now where would I be going for every 2 weeks? But
Right.
anyway,
Right.
yeah. But even at that, that was just part of a laughing point that
Mhm.
we use. A lot of things too. You as you grow together in marriage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, you go back. You pick the battle. Some of the stuff that we went at it back when we were younger, we look at that now like, man, that was crazy. Why?
I bet.
And
Yeah.
so, to anyone that's newly married or might even be married, you pick your battle. You look at your family unit and you all work it out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Work it out.
Yeah.
And talk.
Mhm.
The main thing I believe is talk,
Mm-hmm.
communication.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't talk, I don't know what's going on. If
Right.
I don't talk, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
And I believe that is one of the key issues. And of course, people say communication, finance, and I forgot what other was. Anyway,
Mhm.
prepare yourself for the long run.
Mm.
Prepare yourself for the long run.
The long haul.
You're young, might be young now, but you got to prepare yourself for whenever you get older.
Yeah.
You don't
Change
have
the seasons. Yeah.
you don't have the vigor, you don't have the strength, but you still got to prepare for that.
You don't have the wherewithal. I ain't doing it.
All plays in, but if you communicate and share with one another, and sometimes I think that might have been the hardest for me to actually share, especially during the time that, men just didn't talk anyway. But what went on? Well, the same old thing, same old job, blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
And then when it come time to, let me go back, military wives.
Mhm.
A lot of them didn't know what was going on and didn't know what was going on,
Sure
didn't know
didn't.
where their husband, none of that stuff.
Right.
Men just didn't share. And when it come time to actually being able to maneuver, they didn't know what to do.
Mm.
But this lady right down here,
Mm.
she knew how to maneuver and when to maneuver. Matter of fact, I think might have been Berlin. I think it was Berlin. I was there on a tour to go by myself, but somewhere down in, she made up her mind, and I don't know yet who she talked to. The next thing you know, I was on the way to the airport picking her and your brother up.
Oh wow.
I said, well, how did she do that? Because I didn't put no order. So you have to put orders in and all that stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
She did it. She did it again. Um, uh, moving from Oklahoma to Germany,
Mhm.
Hornfells, yeah.
to Hornfield. I was on a 2-year tour there too.
Mhm.
Yeah, you were supposed to go and come back, right?
Come back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But she said, I'm coming. I said, you coming? She said, yeah, I'm coming. And next thing I know, hey, I was again
At the airport.
in housing, all that in the airport. Now, again, somebody who's not in the military might not understand it, but it's supposed to start from the soldier, which would have been me, going down, getting orders changed and all that from
Mhm.
a unaccompanied tour. That's when your wife and family don't come to a company tour.
Yeah.
And that's when your family comes with them. She did all that on her own. I didn't have to do anything.
Mhm.
She was in Hornsfield. Again, I was looking for houses. Yo, y'all was coming. Y'all was on the way.
We were there
Amen.
waiting at Miss Maddie's house for the orders.
Huh? Say
Mhm.
again. What
Wait,
now?
waiting at Miss Maddie's house for those orders because we had moved out the house
Mhm.
Right.
and we was in like a limbo for how long was that limbo for, Ma?
It was about 6 months.
It was that long?
Yes,
Good God.
because we had 2 houses there we had to sell.
Mhm.
Right. The Forest Avenue and Hardin Avenue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. uh-huh.
So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
But she handled that strong woman.
No, I wouldn't. I just had to do what I had to do. I wasn't strong.
She was a strong woman.
Well, now, Dad,
What?
Dad, the current culture, Black women are not liking to be called strong anymore
That's right.
because they feel like that's all they're known for is being strong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have to live up to that. We find ourselves trying to live up to it when in fact we just want to go somewhere and collapse. But when they said I was strong, so I got to be strong. No, I wasn't strong.
You were surviving.
Yeah, I was surviving, doing what I had to do. I had 3 kids. I had to make sure okay.
Interesting. Bridging the gaps, Dad. Bridging the gap.
Anyway,
Wowzers. Oh, you're done, Dad?
again, will your marriage
Mm.
survive what we went through?
Mm-hmm.
Again, my thing is your marriage is your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things, she is my best friend.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Now, I got in trouble by saying that by my other best friend. Still working on that.
Right.
But she is my best friend.
Right.
I believe that the wife should be your best friend.
Mm.
You're the bestie.
Now, we have other friends. She's the best friend.
That's so sweet.
Why? Because
You bestie.
find some of the younger generation, their friends, they're gone over here, left wife. I don't care. I'm going with so and so, and that's where I'm going. No, you can't do that. You have to be the best. She has to be the best friend that you have. And then when you do go, you'll have consideration of your wife, of your children, of your family. You're just not going to go there because, hey, we going out, we going to have a good time, whatever. We going to. I don't know if they still do all the computer stuff now. It used to be, where your husband at? Where he going with so and so, and they doing. What you used to call that out? I'm that old now. I can't remember.
No, I don't know.
On the computer, playing the different games on the computer.
Oh, like Fortnite and all them kind of games.
Oh, yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Game.
We call it gaming.
Right. Disappear.
Uh-huh.
You need to put a, if you're going to do all that, you need to have a certain time,
Mm-hmm.
because if not, guess what? Even on this little thing right here, if you're not really careful,
Right.
your time will be away from the family unit.
Mm.
That is so true.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
you you divvy up your time,
Right.
and you put your time, most of your time, on what you love.
Mm-hmm.
You put most of your time in on what you love.
Mm-hmm. I have a question for you, Mom and Dad, and then we'll be done here. We might have to continue with this on Wednesday. So naturally, you all were came up in a time where things were black and white,
Mm,
genders and marriage and roles and all those kind of things.
Mhm.
What do you say to those who don't fit the normal cultural roles? And it don't have to be sexuality. It could be that maybe the man is a stay-at-home dad and
yeah.
the wife is
Mhm.
because a lot of times it seems as though you all's generation contribute the morality and the value and the integrity to the cultural roles.
Mhm.
Because what I'm hearing is commitment, faith, communication, trust, love, wherewithal, da 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 da. But is that connected to the roles or is it connected to the person?
Now, I'll say this again: your marriage is your marriage.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So if you all want to reverse the roles,
Hmm.
Mm,
whatever society say roles are,
Right, right, right,
if that works for you, guess what?
let it work.
It works.
right,
Mhm.
right, right.
What breaks up is you're trying to do something that you all don't agree on,
Mm. Trying to
and
be
you're trying to make it work
yeah.
because of society. No, your society, your immediate society, is within that. Again, we talk about bridging the family unit is
Yeah.
right there. Once you are married, that's your main community. That's
Hmm.
your
Mhm.
main thing that you want to have harmony in.
Hmm.
So if it's reverse role, reverse role.
Got it.
I
Got
cook,
Mhm.
it. Hmm.
I wash dishes,
Hmm.
I do it all.
You steam the
Mhm.
floors,
Clean
Mhm.
the
wash
floors,
the
mop the
clothes, clean
floors.
the bathrooms.
So it's not a role. So, but what makes your that's the key. What makes your marriage work? You all put the plan together.
Mhm.
How you want it to work,
Got it.
and you have the flexibility
Mhm.
to change.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You have the flexibility to change. So if this is not working, guess what?
Change it.
Talk about it,
Mhm.
change it.
I love
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Mom, you got anything to add?
Yeah, just whatever works for you, that's what you do.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Whatever worked for you, that's what you do.
Y'all are be, being here since February, about to be a year. I've had an opportunity to watch y'all up close as an adult. And
Mhm.
I'm like, man, ugh, I want that. And so I don't know how, but I'm gonna get it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I get it. I love that you guys are individuals. I
Yeah.
love I love that I can wake up at any given morning, you out and about on the streets. Dad
Mhm.
is dad is in his safe haven up in that room with him and Bella. And then y'all call each other. I'm on my way home. You need something? And,
Mhm.
and is the communication. You always know where he's at. You always know where she's at. But y'all live in two different worlds.
Mhm.
And there are spaces where y'all come together.
Mhm.
I hope to mature to that level one day.
Mhm.
I could
Mhm.
coexist with someone without
Mhm.
losing my existence.
Right. Right.
And
Now
that's
that was work. That's still work,
mhm, mhm.
especially husband and wife in ministry. I mean, in ministry,
Yeah.
that takes work
Mhm.
because, as you know, I'm a whole lot more vocal, a
Yeah.
whole lot more outgoing. But from the very beginning, my prayer to the Lord was, "Don't let me overshadow my husband."
Mhm.
Not because I'm taken the rule over him, but because of my voice being so much louder
Yeah.
or whatever. Um, and unless I'm mistaken, honey, feel free. Yeah, we on the www, but feel free.
Right.
To this day, I have made sure that I don't overpower him, because I don't. No, seriously, I do not like bossy women. No,
Mhm.
I do not like women out of control, and you can tell. A woman should be able to tell when I feel like she's out of control, because no ma'am, no ma'am, no sirs. That's not what we're doing. And let me tell you why, and I'm gonna leave that alone. If
Mhm.
we're not careful as women of God, we'll be operating out of a Jezebel spirit in the name of the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Now, can you decode that for people who don't know what that is?
Okay, Jezebel is a woman out of control.
Okay.
Yeah, out of control. Taking control over everything and everybody. The
Mm.
man, the woman, other people in ministry, in the house of God. She's up running everything, telling people where to sit. No, ma'am, you go sit down somewhere. I'm gonna sit where I want to sit.
Right.
You know,
Right.
just all over the place. And
And
it's
not the usher.
no, not the usher. No,
Right.
no.
No, I was saying,
It-
and not the usher.
right.
Telling everyone to sit down, and she's not the usher.
Okay,
Right.
and
Right.
they're not the usher. Got you.
Right.
But that spirit is, when Jezebel died in the Old Testament, the Bible talk about how her hands and all that stuff was left in the earth. So Jezebel is still in the earth.
Mm. Mm.
Hmm. And I don't like women out of control. So I always try to make sure that I don't operate that way.
Mm.
Hmm. And so, but yeah, um, how did I get into that? Jeez.
Because you got to preach tomorrow.
Ah,
Interesting. I'm going to say this because I don't have the temperature for it because I'm not in it.
Mhm.
So I'm interested in you all's comments, opinions, and questions. As you have listened to my parents' account, they're from an older generation, and I'm wondering, does it even hit like that anymore? Are y'all connecting with this, or is it a miss because it works for them, it works for their generation?
mm,
But I'm not even being funny or nothing. I'm genuinely interested in that,
mhm,
even about women being out of control,
mm,
and all of that. That's something. I do know this. There is a lack of something in my generation and below. And maybe what has happened is we've gotten integrity and love and warmth and vulnerability conflated with roles,
mm,
and it has caused a disdain for the thing that needs to sustain.
mhm, mhm.
Because what I heard you all talk about today wasn't roles. And the roles you talked about were those that you chose to be in. What I
Yeah.
heard you guys talk about was commitment, communication, sticking it out,
Mhm,
and having to be strong when you didn't want to be strong, and
mhm.
all of the
Yeah.
things. Wow. Wowzers. What? Oh, go
Let,
ahead. Uh-huh.
let me add one other thing to this. Again, it's a cultural thing
Mhm.
for, as I would say, uh, people of color.
Mhm.
Mm,
It's getting farther and farther away from it. But way back then, when the women was the one that controlled everything, the man was the one that was going out,
mhm,
serving in the field or whatever. But the women was the one that kept the house together.
Mhm.
mhm, mhm.
And so they was in charge pretty much. Man come home tired, sleep,
Right.
get up, got to
Right.
take care of the children. Boom, 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 boom. And so she was the and that's where uh, that that part is still within
Mhm.
the the framework of people of color.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so
Interesting.
that's where that Jezebel spirit will come from.
Mhm,
Uh, and again, it your generation it gets farther and farther away.
mhm,
'Cause things will wear out, but
Right.
we have to remember where we come from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When we remember where we come from, you understand some of the dynamics that goes forth in our uh, our generation, our race, and all. Mhm.
Interesting. So, and I know we got to go, but I just need for clarity. So you're saying that how things were back in the day sort of gave way to this kind of
Mhm.
over dominating
Mm-hmm.
woman.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
It
okay.
did. Really, seriously.
Mhm.
And the man, because always remember this: where there's a Jezebel, there is an Ahab.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Ahab is a king.
Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out how we can word this for those that on my side. Like, who is these people? So
Right.
there are some prototypes, I guess, or some types, some characters in the Bible: Ahab and Jezebel.
Mhm.
Ahab was the king, but Jezebel ran everything.
Everything.
Most importantly, Jezebel would go after the prophets of God.
Mm-hmm.
And
Correct.
so that's really what put Jezebel on the map. She always had heat for the prophets of God.
Mhm.
And there was this ideal. Okay, I got the wording for my people below. There must be a balance of the masculine and feminine.
Yes.
All right, who is it?
With me.
Okay, as always, we almost made it through. there must be a balance between the masculine and the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And when the feminine is overpowering, it throws things off. And in certain church spaces, they call that Ahab and Jezebel.
Right.
But when there is a balance, it keeps this kind of Ahab and Jezebel energy out of the relationship.
Yes.
So there must always be a balance of the masculine and feminine in everything you do. And in my opinion, even if it's like if I'm on a production set like back in the day, I always needed the feminine with me, but that's not always a male, more than this kind of nurturing energy, like
Right.
Chris Edwards used to be. So there
Right.
must always be a balance of the masculine and feminine, or you risk the chance of there being a King Saul who is
Mhm.
treacherous, or a King Ahab who is extremely passive.
Mhm.
Bam, got
Bam.
it.
You got it. You got it.
Okay, before we go, because it looks like everybody's ready to go. My mom's at the edge of her seat. My dad's rocking. Let's talk about the impartation conference one more time. Guys, listen, there's a conference coming up March the 7th to the 9th, 2025 called the Impartation Conference. Whew, it's needed. It's needed
It
because
is.
we got to have these kind of conversations. We got to validate people that they can be married, they can get connected, they can fall in love and not have to fall into roles, that they can customize their relationships, or they can
Yeah.
stick it out if they're thinking about giving up. It's needed all the way around. If you have a gap in your family structure, this conference was made for you. Any gap at all, you name it, this conference was tailor-made for you, okay? I am going to put the flyer up at the bottom of the screen. There's a QR code that comes up. You can scan it, or you can go to, lifelineprayercenter.com and get all of the information you need for that, okay? You get all the information you need for that by going to lifelineprayercenter.com, all right? We're going to go ahead and go. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Put your questions, comments inside of the comments, and then we'll answer them at the top of tomorrow's show. Y'all be all the way blessed.
Hello, my name is Pastor Perry here. I am the founder of Lifeline Prayer Center.
I am Angeline Hill. I am the vice president of Lifeline Press Center.
I'm Vitero Hill, the founder of Safe Space.
We would like to invite you to our conference,
Impartation 2025.
A cross-generational family conference.
Our generation deserves to serve God without constraints of cultural or religious beliefs.
The purpose of this event is to bridge the gap one generation to the next. That different styles of worship are done in unison to the divine one, and the power of God may be felt like Pentecost.
Honoring God based on who you know God to be from the depths of our hearts, that everyone will feel the love of God with no limitations.
For more information,
Go to lifelinepresscenter.com
Or scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen.